Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, today we're going to be continuing the aftermath of the Minneapolis shooter Robin Westman, or AKA Robert Westman, which is his actual full name. And what you're going to hear is absolutely disgusting. And I'm going to have to show you exactly what I mean by this because he has apparently was tired of being trans. So this is really putting the hard narrative, a bad narrative on the trans community of what they're doing. So without further ado, let's get directly into this. So we have this here from the New York Post saying Minneapolis shooter Robin Westman confessed he was tired of being trans. I wish I never brainwashed myself. Now, you can say this, but I think the evil demon in the room was technically his mother, and we're going to find out. But, his parents are at fault here, and this is why they need to be arrested. This is why the parents need to be held accountable, because they essentially caused this. So it says here, transgender mass shooter Robin Westman confessed that he was tired of being trans and wished he never brainwashed himself in a manifesto posted online before he slaughtered 2 children and wouldn't done this more at a Minneapolis church. In a twisted handwritten journal he shared on YouTube before the massacre, much of which is encrypted in a homespun code of Russian Cyrillic script and English words, Westman groaned about his long hair and his decision to transition. I only keep the long hair because it is pretty much my last shred of being trans. I am tired of being trans. I wish I never brainwashed myself, he wrote, according to a translation by the Post. I can't cut my hair now, so as it would be an embarrassing defeat, and it might be a concerning change of character that could get me reported. It just always gets in my way. I will probably chop it off on the day of the attack. Westman 23 later wrote that he regretted being trans and just wished he were a girl. I regret being trans. I wish I was a girl. I just know I cannot achieve that body with the technology we have today. I also can't afford that. The unhinged shooter also expressed feelings of self-loathing. I feel like I like feeling sexy and cute, but my face never matches how I feel. I hate my face. Maybe that's why I like furries so much. You can give yourself a new body and face, but I want to be that black face mask on Beyonce's body. It goes on to say here that the Westman opened fire on the Indian Catholic Church at school Wednesday morning while students were praying at Mass. So that's what we have here. It goes on to say that about 5 years later, he seemed to have shrunk away from his new identity, scribbling on another page of the notebook, I don't want to dress girly all the time, but I guess sometimes I really like it. I know I'm not a woman, but I definitely don't feel like a man. Westman's chilling writings revealed his violent fantasies about unaliving children and killing, and including to be the scary, horrible monster standing over those powerless kids. So, yeah, this guy is an absolute bloody monster, an absolute demon. And his mother, which, by the way, Mary Grace Westman, spent 5 years working as a secretary at the school until she retired in 2021. Westman started shooting through the church's stained glass windows with a rifle, shotgun, and pistol around 8:30 a.m. So, yeah, where do you think we're getting with this at, right? This guy literally says, I'm tired of being trans, and a lot of these people have these same quirks or these same things that were regarding with these trans people. These trans people are actually sick of being trans or sick of being this, and this is the reality of it all. Like, these people are mentally ill. They have problems. And the fact that we are not treating trans ideology or any wanting people to be trans as a mental illness is destructive towards the own trans people. It really is. This is the person that we're talking about here. This is the face of pure evil. This is Robert Westman's mother, Mary Grace Westman. And this is what she is. This is a demon that we have here. Again, this is another, like I've been saying, a white liberal woman. The white liberal women are the most destructive menace to society. Literally says white liberal women are an actual menace to society. Yes, they are. Their actual amount of empathy is none. They have no empathy. They have no caring. They have nothing. Why? Because these people try to use empathy as a way to try to get their own sick ideology onto other people, even though the sick ideology destroys people. It's destructive. The white liberal female is the most dangerous creature on this planet. Plain full stop. They're the most dangerous people on this planet. They promote nothing but degeneracy, and evil. That's all that they do. And they will transform their kid to be a transgender individual, push them to a bloody breaking point to where they go and do this. And we want to say, oh, let's keep the 19th Amendment alive because this is what it breeds. This is what we have here. This is absolutely disgusting. We have more from this as well. Now, we're going to do this first, and then we'll go to Jen Psaki, etc. So we have this here where the Minneapolis mayor, Fred, doubles down on attacking those who point out the shooter was trans. So we're going to go over this.
I don't want to tiptoe around the edge of this, but, you know, the shooter's name was in question, the gender of the shooter. No one's really sure what's going on there. 5 years ago it was Robert, then a name change to Robin. Okay. This is being seized in all corners, as you can imagine, in all sorts of ways. And you know that, Mayor, and perhaps that's why when you spoke about this so profoundly and powerfully as you are even here now, but when you spoke about this today publicly, you voiced concern for the transgender community, for the community overall. And obviously, you chose to do that in that moment because you thought it was important. And I wanted to give you a chance to say why you felt it was important to do that in that moment.
Obviously, I've heard about the rhetoric and the narrative that is being pushed out, but here's the thing.
It's not a rhetoric, and it's not the narrative. This person was trans. He does have trans ideology. He did want to kill Trump, and this is on the gun. This is not a lie. This is all out to sea. So you people are trying to hide this stuff, bury it under to the ground because it doesn't fit your narrative, and it looks very bad. We have to address the trans violence and the disgustingness of what's happening to our youth with trans people so we can stop this insanity. And what you guys are trying to do is bury it.
Anybody that is going to use this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any community has lost touch with a common humanity. We got to be operating not out of hate for any group, but out of a love for our children. That's where the focus needs to be right now. A love for our kids. Seeing these kids, not just as somebody else's kids, this horrific thing happened, but what if it was our own? How would we feel then? So, look, we need to be standing up for every community out there. A Catholic community, too, by the way. I mean,
the Catholic community is under attack because your guys' sick ideology and you're attacking on Donald Trump and other Americans, especially Catholics and Christians alike, is caused this. You, the Democratic Party, has done this. You have caused this.
Any community that suffers this kind of blow, our Minneapolis community, you got to stand up for them. But, you know, I feel oftentimes in these instances there's this desire to villainize a group.
Nobody's villainizing a group. Nobody's villainizing a group. We're saying that the person is trans, he hated Trump, and we need to address the issues of why this is happening besides going after guns.
Want to call this an act of cowardice? Do it, because it is. But regardless of what group or background, gender, you know, the bottom line is that kids got killed. Let's love each other more. Let's love each other more because the antidote to hate is not more hate. Hurt people, and the antidote to hate is a whole lot more love. That's where we all need to be going right now.
The thing is that we do not hate trans people. We want these people to get help. But you, the Democratic Party, are refusing to help these people. You're refusing to get them help at all. When we want to get them actual mental help, to get them therapy, to try to push them, stop them from wanting to do this, to prevent parents from transing their kids or putting them on hormone blockers, etc., when they're young, so they can actually maybe get out of a phase, etc. maybe we're trying to stop that. We're trying to find the issue and be like, okay, there are other solutions that we need to have here. Why is the trans community being evidently so violent right now that we have to solve the problem? We're looking at the problem, we're seeing the issue, and we're like, this is not good, because right now we're seeing majority of the people as the current past 5 years where a lot of trans people are committing these crimes. We're trying to find a solution, and you people still want to trans them. We have this here for Jen Psaki, and she's saying that you're going to start narratives about how the shooter was trans. You're going to see narratives about how the shooter appeared to be anti-Trump.
And all they should be hoping to do is have someone to sit with at lunch or someone to play with on the playground. And they should be waiting to hear an update when they get home. And that is not what these parents at the school experience today. Sorry, this is a tough one. Having your child killed while they are sitting in a pew for a morning prayer service is not what any parent should have to worry about. And I have felt a mixture of anger and a lot of anger and emotional exhaustion about this today, as I'm sure many of you have, because we have been here so many times. And yet again, like clockwork, half of the politicians in our country have little more to offer than thoughts and prayers. That is all they are offering. Join all of us in praying for the victims, was Vice President J.D. Vance's response today. That's what he said. That's it. Please join me in praying for everyone involved, Trump wrote. We have seen this play out over and over again. There is a shooting, then come the thoughts and prayers, and then comes the attempt to shift the focus. This is what always happens. You're going to start seeing narratives. You're already seeing them. They're already out there.
Jen Psaki, you're a demon. You're an actual legitimate demon. You are an evil piece of garbage. The reason why I say that you're evil is because you are attacking people which are praying for the victims. Now, I'm not a religious person, so I'm not going to take this as I'm pretty much the outside in. But there is nothing wrong with people wanting to pray and doing what they think is best to help for the victims. There's nothing wrong with that. And you're saying that it is wrong for these people to pray. What is wrong with you? What type of demon are you exactly? There's nothing wrong with praying for people, as same as some other people wanting to do other things. This is insanity here. What are we doing? This person is a demon.
About how the shooter was trans. You're going to see narratives about how the shooter appeared to be anti-Trump and anti-Semitic, and clearly was in the midst of a mental health crisis. There's no question.
Yes, which could have been stopped if you Democrats gave a damn about kids or anybody else. But you don't. You don't care. You only care about your own sick ideology, and you're trying to bury it into the ground because you can't stand it. This makes you guys look bad.
About that. But here's the thing. There are trans people all over the world. There are anti-Semitic people, unfortunately, all over the world. And people filled with plenty of political hate all over the world. And mental health issues are not unique to the United States. And yes, we should do more to address them. But it's also an issue all over the world. But this is the only country where shootings like this one happen this often. The United States not only has the highest rate of gun violence of any country in the world, it's become a leading cause of death for young people and teenagers in this country. That should make everybody angry. Weaponizing the shooter's identity is meant to distract from what matters.
No, we're not weaponizing this person's identity. What we're doing is this person happens to be transgender. It happened again after the past 5 years. How many times has this happened, or people potentially wanting to do this, and you don't talk about it? We're seeing a pattern, and we're trying to stop it. This is what J.D. Vance had to say about this. She says, prayer is not freaking enough. Prayers does not end shootings. This is what Jen Psaki said. And J.D. Vance says, we pray because our hearts are broken. We pray because we know God listens. We pray because we know that God works in mysterious ways and can inspire us to further action. Why do you feel the need to attack other people for praying when kids were just killed praying? Of all the weird left-wing culture wars in the last few years, this is by far the most bizarre. How dare you pray for innocent people in the midst of a tragedy? What are you even talking about? Exactly. It makes no sense. Like, let people grieve their own way of doing things. Let the people do what they think is best for people. I'm not a huge person on praying because I don't think that I think action does more, but I'm not going to stop people from praying what they think is best to do. You can still pray and do action. You people are vile. You people are disgusting, and it's showing. Like, look at this: mass shootings by race, by demographic. Trans and trans non-binary, both female and male, are high. They're way higher than anybody else, any other race. And we're going to say that it's not a trans problem. It is a trans problem, and we have to find a solution to it. Just because we recognize a solution, just because we recognize a pattern, does not mean that we hate these people. We want to get them help. So let's get them help. It's insane. This is what the media does. They just hide it, and they blame and shift the blame onto the victims of all things. The victims and the people praying. That's wild behavior. The fact that we have a media that does this is asinine. Oh, no. Let's move all blame from the actual person that committed it. It's the guns. It's the guns that's the problem. But no. But it's the people praying. The people praying, yeah, they're the issue. Get out of here, media. This is the reason why. BS now. Used by Black Conservative Perspective, which is the one to use it for the foreseeable future. BS now, yeah, you're garbage. You're garbage, and you deserve to be taken off the air. You are a vile network. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.